This Independence Day, head deep into the West Virginia mountains where Sheriff Bob is the last original meat left in a town systematically cloned by a petty folklore monster. Grab your walkie-talkie, check your ceiling for blacklight stains, and prepare to copy that.
Breaker. John, do you copy? If you can hear my voice in the radio
Speaker vibrations, I need you to confirm your identity immediately. What is the secret code word we use to alert each other when the debt collecting gorillas are back?
Harry, I'm sitting like 1 foot away from you. We are in the exact same shed. You do not need a walkie-talkie. And you are holding actually, it's an apple mouse. You're holding an apple mouse.
John, that is exactly what a subterranean shape-shifting folklore entity would say to get me to lower my guard. So I'm looking at the listener check-ins from last week's Fast Five, and Bob, shout out to Bob, first time on the pod, heck yeah. So he checked in this beer called Copy That from At Ease Brewing Company. It's got all this tactical military jargon on the can, and my small brain was ready for a standard movie about guys in camouflage shouting into bushes, but...
You know, we roll a little differently on this show, folks. We always zig when the audience, you, want us to zag. Or my wife. So we're bypassing standard military movie with an absolute necessity because it was too obvious. Instead, we took Copy That and we turned it into a psychological throat punch of a horror film set in the deep mountains of West Virginia.
So deep. Right. But I started reading through your plot breakdown, and by page 4, my jaw hit the floor. You have a character named Old Man Gibbles who allegedly saw this monster in a cave, pooped his pants for 5 consecutive days, and then immediately dropped dead from a diet consisting exclusively of wild mushrooms and canned dog food.
Harry, Old Man Gibbles is a local legend, especially in West Virginia, so don't disrespect this man's legacy. The actual terror of this movie is that our protagonist, Sheriff Bob, goes home to his family, tries to have a normal conversation with his wife, and realizes she's been duplicated by this Copy That. Only Copy That doesn't quite understand, we'll say, human cultural context. So the interaction he has with his wife is not the common get me a beer and leave the kitchen.
I'll tell you what, I know a thing or two about that, John. And if my loving wife looked at me dead in the eye and said, Bobby, you put the cannoli in your best team. You better beat the meatballs. It must be bigger. The moon goes in the ocean. It comes out of the ocean. I would not solve the crime. I would simply crawl into a hole and wait for the credits to roll.
Exactly that. It's hopefully it's going to be an absolute mind game where the monster isn't even trying to eat you. It's just a petty ancient entity that has already cloned your wife, your kids, maybe your entire town, and is actively playing with its dinner, you, like a giant cat.
This is going to get deeply paranoid, incredibly unsanitary, and of course, as always, pretty wild. So strap in, everybody. Keep your radios tuned to the right frequency, and if your neighbor suddenly offers you a suspiciously large meatball, run for your life. This is Copy That.
This is not an ad break, mostly, unless you consider us reminding you that we're a podcast, an ad. In that case, sue me. Actually, don't. I cannot afford to be sued, and I think that means I just automatically lose.
Yep, it does. It finally happened. We stopped scribbling our film blueprints on grease-stained pizza boxes in the corner of the shed and built an actual functioning digital fortress. The Beer That Movie website is officially live, completely unlocked, and running entirely on vibes and 3 separate mortgages.
3 separate mortgages is what it takes to build a free website these days. And if you head over there now, you can dig through every movie we've ever made. You can see our upcoming movies. And I think most importantly, you can vote in the Vault movies. Right now, there's a pretty good race. I think, Harrison, is it Vampirate?
I think it was Loudspeaker last I looked, but Loudspeaker, Vampirate, and Powder Jones are up at the top. All battling out for our future final film, number 50. And you guys just got to tell us which one you want. So get over there and vote. Go explore. Hit the site. I mean, fair warning, though, to the developers out there. If you try to type Harrison while the site is loading, there's a 9% chance the browser will transform into your grandma and try and eat your soul or something. Check it out before it's too late.
It's hard to code that in.
We did what you asked for. We turned a beer into a movie. Here it comes.
So like many great actors and directors before us,
yes.
we're going to copy that with Act 1.
As is tradition.
There's going to be 3 acts in this movie. That's just
far as we know.
That's how we do it. 3, maybe an epilogue, probably an epilogue, but most importantly for Act 1, you want to try and set the scene. You want to build the characters. You want to build a little bit. You want to build the story, but you kind of want to build a connection with your characters. So
absolutely.
We know from the Fast Five that this is going to be, the protagonist is going to be a guy named Bob. That's who checked the beer in.
Cheers, Bob.
We've never had Bob as a lead in a film before.
So.
And this is our 46?
Something. Yeah.
40,
close.
maybe 47?
Wow. That's close to 50.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end here, folks. And now we've got it down to a science. So
science can't count still, but we
counting is different.
Yeah, 46.
That's for kids.
Yeah, that is for kids. We're done with that. We have computers to count for us.
So yeah, so I've stopped doing it entirely. Close to our last feature film. We know that we start with Act 1, we get into Act 2, things get weird, and then 3, we try and tie it together and make you poop. Act 1, Harrison, copy that. Not a military movie. A movie basically about a rogue dickhead mimic.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of what as always, the Fast Five, we strangled an idea out of this one. It took a little bit, but we got there, resisting the urge to just make a movie about 2 people in love in the army who could only talk long distance through their walkie-talkies or whatever. So you might
Do you
think,
love me? Copy that.
Copy that. Copy that.
Shut the fuck up and don't say anything.
I'll be doing the showers.
This is a public channel. The whole damn company can hear this.
You're not in the army anymore. That's right. You're broadcasting this over the local news somehow. Okay, so that's okay. That's not happening.
Act 1, copy that. Harrison, introduce me to our sheriff and make me fall in love with him.
Yes, all right. So let's throw Bob out there, and we've done Save the Cat openings before, exciting openings where someone saves someone from some tragic thing. That's not how we're going to meet Bob, though. I think we're going to meet Bob in a place that many people love, in his truck.
Great.
And really getting out of his truck. The opening scene of this movie, I think I wanted to set the scenes. We're in the West Virginia mountains, a beautiful place. There's a reason John Denver sang about it. But also a place full of mystery and spooky folklore like the Mothman. So there's a healthy mix of terror and beauty. Such is life. But so
you can't have one without the other.
That's right. It's all embodied in Bob.
Show me a beautiful girl. I'm terrified and I'm intrigued.
That's right. I might be throwing up, but I'm also so excited all the blood's out of my head. Oh, man. Yeah, those were the days. Living by the seat of your pants. Just a whim away from a magical evening with a lady. But that's all in the past now. Now we're here with Bob in his truck near a lake in the West Virginia mountains. And he's grabbing his fishing poles and kayak out of the back. You know, the sun is setting over the beautiful rolling hills, and Bob's making his way down to the shore. And I think
he's an everyman.
Right, he is an everyman, and that's the impression I want him to.
With a sheriff's badge.
Yeah, with a sheriff's badge. That's and a gun. Big difference. Yeah. An everyman who
every man in West Virginia.
Right, that's right.
The gun's a given.
I deputized myself. Bob's an actual
I bought
sheriff.
The biggest, newest gun. I became the sheriff.
That's how it used to be, and still is in parts of West Virginia, but probably not in this town. I think there's a little bit more order, despite the sometimes chaos that happens in these woods. That will
so this is modern era West Virginia.
Modern era West Virginia.
Tax code enforcement.
Sure. As much as they can. They're not going to fix the roads, though, is it? But they're still collecting taxes for something. Okay. And so Bob's getting out, about to enjoy a nice, relaxing evening on the lake, fishing. And I think, as so happens so often, and I feel like all of our lives, this peaceful moment is interrupted by some stupid piece of technology from the now, and oftentimes a human attached to it. So I want us to see, like, to help set up the movie and the backstory and stuff, instead of us going to like a museum in the first shot, or a voiceover in the first shot, or a scrolling text like Star Wars, we'll do that a little bit differently and have this a YouTuber, whatever they're called now, content creator, I don't know, some kid with his phone yelling
YouTuber
in it,
works.
yelling at it while recording himself on the shore of this lake, right, trying to do some K-pop dance. No, he's there because he's a history nerd and a paranormal nerd, and we kind of jump right into like his reel or whatever he's making, where he's saying, you know,
I love that this movie opens up like as a TikTok video.
Yes, pretty much. Yes, Bob strolling down the truck with hoping
What's up,
for peaceful
fam?
night.
We're gonna get right to it today. I just want to
Bob's
show you this new dance.
Can't
it's
even
all
escape.
the rage.
I can't even escape it here at the lake. And so this TikToker is like going back as far as the 1500s when the town was first settled. I like that he'll try to make paranormal stuff cool, John. As hip as ghosts are hip, gang.
1500s were great, y'all.
Unless you lived in this tiny little town, because you might get disappeared. And so he's going through about how journal entries back to the 1500s had people going missing. I'm not talking about getting captured by local Native Americans. Those tribes wouldn't even trade with people on these lands. And no, they didn't run off with the preacher's daughter. I'm talking missing without a trace. Too many to count. Once in the mid 1860s during the Civil War, almost the entire town was gone. Recently, it's fallen on local Sheriff Bob to try and piece it all together. And under his 10-year watch, nothing has changed. Well, almost nothing. There was a rumor that he once cornered the suspect, a suspect of all these disappearances, but it was never confirmed, gang. And the rumblings of the town are they're fed up. Why? Why would one man be able to undo what no one has done for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years? It's anyone's guess. And I think as that's happening, the YouTuber sees like Bob walking past, maybe like a sign that says like, no swimming, no boating allowed, dam ahead, drinking reservoir, with signs all over telling people to stop. And Bob's got a kayak over his shoulder, and the YouTuber's like, hey, you can't do that. And Bob, of course, doesn't care about that.
Of course not.
And he says something like, well, call the cops then. And the YouTuber recognizes him. And he's like, oh my God, it's you, it's the sheriff. What do you think happened to all those people? Turning his camera around and thinking he's getting some great content. And Bob, without missing a beat, just stares at the woods, the dark, deep woods, John. And then stares back at the YouTuber and goes, if you don't get out of here in the next 15 minutes, you might find out yourself. And the YouTuber scrambles away in panic and drives off. And Bob finally can enjoy the peace and quiet of the lake. And, you know, gets in the kayak, paddles out. Again, the sun setting. There's a bird doing bird things. The fish are lightly jumping. It's a calm, cool night. And he looks across the reservoir and sees the old abandoned mill. This kind of like, I don't know, this growth in this town that jumps out of the beautiful natural forests like an ugly middle finger to Bob again. He can't even enjoy the skyline of just trees without some dumb government.
Not only
something.
is it a mill, but it hasn't been staffed or taken care of for
exactly
3 generations.
Right. But there's even longer. And in fact, as far as Bob's concerned, he doesn't remember anyone ever working there, but it's been there as long as he can think back. And you know, it's abandoned, but there's a light on, and it's off far enough in the distance that he can't see it too well, but he can make out, let's say, like 3 guards for some reason standing on the balcony, each smoking a cigarette, staring towards Bob clearly. And then weirdly, all 3 flick their cigarettes in unison into the reservoir, turn around like a synchronized dancing troupe, and walk inside.
They throw it into the drinking water?
Yeah, they're jerks. It's just popular bastards.
I had to confirm, but if you're watching the movie, you know these guys are dicks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yes. Yeah, they gave off dick vibes, dick energy immediately, not the good kind. And so Bob doesn't really have time to lament on it, though, I don't think, because he'll get a hit on his line. He reels it in quick, and he's got a fish. So now his night's going back to the way he had hoped it was going, enjoying himself, doing some fishing, pulls in.
What kind of fish do you catch in a drinking water reservoir?
Well, that's where I used to fish growing up, John. And they had a lot of sunnies in there. So I guess I was always drinking fish water, but we weren't worried about that.
They
I don't know.
pee.
These are questions I didn't ask as a child. I just nodded. Actually, we had well water. I don't know who got the reservoir water we fished in. Somebody was drinking fish pee. And I fish in it. But he grabs a largemouth bass out of there, pulls it in the boat. And is again kind of excited, but then looks down and realizes this thing has 2 heads.
Great, double the fish.
That's sure one way to look at it. Good for you for being positive, John. But to make it even weirder, like we see it for a moment, and it's the head of a bass, and then like the head of a catfish. And Bob's like, "What? I gotta get the hell out of this town."
Bass cat,
right? And kind of a bass cat, a cass. And he kind of like picks the fish up and maybe throws it back, and hangs his head, packs up, and leaves. So Bob's night was kind of ruined 3 different ways, but whatever. He still caught a fish, still wasn't at the office. It was kind of a victory. But Bob's a guy who's doing whatever Bob's wants to do and is trying not to get slowed down by the constant stress of being a small town sheriff. You'd think it'd be easy, a couple drunk kids in the woods every now and then, maybe someone rolls through a stop sign. But not in this town.
Is Bob normally a catch and release guy, or does he fish to eat?
I think in the reservoir, maybe in the reservoir, you should always throw them back. That's what you're told for as a young
They clean
boy.
That's how they clean the water.
That's right. Fish are in there eating all the bird poop. That's how they clean it so we can drink it. What about the fish poop? Table that.
Different fish for that. They all eat each other's poop.
That's right.
That's why I have
just keep eating poop. There's a fish that just eats poop.
Bass catfish.
That's amazing. That's right. Oh God. All right. So that's how we meet Bob. He likes fishing. He's the sheriff. He doesn't care for people talking about folks disappearing in his town, but really he's just trying to get through it like everybody else.
What can you do, really? It's a disappearance, not a easy to solve case.
That's right. Yeah. Bob's got a tough job. He's under-resourced and he's kind of been forgotten. The end of the road and the top of
let's
his
make
mountain.
his job harder.
Let's do that.
Now I feel like I'm in management.
Make them do more.
Let's make their job harder.
That's right.
So Bob's got a decent gig, sheriff, slow town, fishing, sure. I want someone important to be kidnapped in Bob's small town.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is going to lead into the FBI gets involved. Someone important, a congressman, senator's daughter. Yeah.
Yes, I like that. So I think that's a great way to kick this thing off. Right. So why do we care about this town? People are always going missing. What's different now? And I think an easy way to do that is to just raise the stakes. So we can set it up like this. There's a beautiful young woman running through the woods. I'm like a jog, not running because she's escaped like a pit, but she's running by choice.
Hold on. Before we, because
right, I said
I'm concerned about our audience. I want them to know who this beautiful woman looks like.
Smart.
Natively, Marissa Tomei comes to my mind. Sure. That's a condition that I'll never be able to out therapy.
That's right. Why would you want to?
We've done a lot of Megan Fox. I'm thinking we mix it up. Is this a good role for Mila Kunis?
Sure. I love Mila Kunis. Yeah.
Me too.
Yes.
So we get her in the movie. Well, maybe not her, but like if you're wondering and you're listening to this podcast and you're like me and you're like, well, what beautiful woman? I want to know. I want to be scared and excited.
Yeah, that 70s show Mila Kunis.
Imagine Mila Kunis.
There you go. Running through the woods in some cool jogging clothes. And it's night. This doesn't look like a good idea. I would not recommend doing this, but whatever.
Well, small town, West Virginia,
sure.
Right? Like there's
one would think.
If you wouldn't, you got to be scared of bears.
Yeah, I mean,
she's got bear spray in her hand.
Good.
She's got an Xbox controller, and she's going for a quick run in between.
That's right, between games
and Call of Duty.
Love it. And so as she's running through the woods, she enters like a fog-covered clearing, and kind of stops in her tracks. She sees like a kind of a blackish figure standing in the fog, obscured.
A black person?
Nope.
Okay.
Black is
that
dark.
Would be scary to a small West Virginia town. Probably.
No, black is.
I thought they were only on TV.
Right. It shocks her in many ways. But also, I think what I think would be kind of interesting for the audience is that she stopped in her tracks, but then kind of you see on her face, she was startled, but now she's almost like, hey, what are you doing here? Like she knows or recognizes this person that's randomly in the woods. We don't see who the figure looks like, how the fog obscure, but clearly she can. And then we just hear like
her
scream.
sister, Natalie Portman.
Perfect.
Probably.
That would be amazing. And then they run off into a lake and go skinny dipping. Nope. Different movie. We could, but we won't, folks.
Copy that.
Copy that gladly. Copy
it's
that
just two
too.
girls challenging each other to copy what they do. It's a great movie.
It exists. And if it doesn't, you can make it happen tonight. Pick your favorite chat bot. And so that's not happening with Copy That, though. At least, I mean, it could, but now I'm hesitating, John. We've made the wrong movie. We've made
she
a mistake.
does a cartwheel and takes her shirt off. What does Natalie Portman do?
Yep, she's got to do it.
Copy that.
And
we don't want to lose.
And one upper.
We just describe Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman doing weirder stuff.
Weirder things.
I mean, that might get us
That's
our
got
best
an audience.
reviews.
I was going to say,
yeah.
that'll pull a lot in. They'll just be disappointed that it's an audio podcast.
No, we're cinemaphiles, and we're
That's
not going to
right.
do that. These are professional actresses that have skills and talent that we want to show off. In this
That's right.
case, by just having them get hijacked by a weird
That's right,
creature.
some weird creature. So that's what's happening. And we just hear a scream. There's a flash in the fog, and the clearing is just empty.
No
Gone.
one's there.
Nothing.
Neither
no
Mila
one,
nor whatever else was in there.
There's
with
no
her.
cartwheeling, Natalie Portman, no naked ladies, no skinny dipping. Unfortunately, it's sad.
We'll put them in the trailer though, so we get people to watch the movie.
Yep, that's marketing 101.
Yep, throw Tom Cruise in there real quick.
An explosion, jumping out of a plane. Buying my tickets now. How do I buy tickets to this? If only it was that easy. Maybe it is. Maybe we're overthinking it. And so, yeah. So, okay. So we have that too. So we meet Bob. Something sketchy happens to this congresswoman's daughter.
Okay, we see the we'll say the kidnapping of
The disappearance of this
Mila
Congress.
Kunis.
Yeah, Mila
And
Kunis'
then we
character.
learn who it is, and we get to let's go to the sheriff's office like next morning.
Yes, absolutely. And
we
what do we see?
We're gonna start with Bob and his files.
Of course.
Bob's got a couple deputies.
Always digging
He's
through
in
files,
his sheriff's
Bob.
office. That's how a sheriff works. Like you show up to one domestic dispute per month in West Virginia per day.
Sure.
and
Per hour some days.
it's mostly
There's a
domestics
holiday.
and young kids that found pot.
Right.
And
Pound
he's
pot.
he's looking for something in his files, and this is when we see the old journals of old man Gibbles.
Right. He's just like domestic disturbance,
He's-
kid with pot, domestic disturbance, kid
Gibbles.
throwing these files.
You see these like composition notebook papers that are torn out, scribbled
Right.
in crayon.
Okay.
It's journals. Pooping again. Pooping again. Pooping again.
Day
Poop,
5.
poop, poop, mushroom poop, mushroom poop. That's how we learn. Like Old Man Gibbles is a legend, not only in this West Virginia town, but
Right.
also in the movie. He's not
Yeah.
cast in the movie. He's just
No.
spoken about.
Right. He's
or
like
in this
Yoda,
case-
but not there. His essence is everywhere, all over this
a
town.
big part of
As
it.
is his feces.
As is the smell and poop. One of the deputies is like, didn't that guy die? He died after pooping his pants for
Right.
5 days.
Was he
We
writing-
respect the Gibbles.
Right. Was he writing in that book? Shouldn't that be in evidence or in a?
It is in evidence. It's in my
garbage?
top desk drawer.
Right. Shouldn't it be in a bag, sir? It's covered
His
in
last
poop.
pants are in the bag.
What's left of him? It's hard poops. There's a hole in there. You can stick your head in.
That's the Ziploc bag in the back of the fridge.
That's right. Nobody touched that. Oh, it's gone, sir. The intern took it. Okay, so love it. So we get to so
So Bob's in his work office.
looking
and-
at a poop journal, talking about poop pants, when in walks
Perfect timing. Young hotshot FBI agent
Yes.
Clary Raven.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
someone else.
Well,
Close.
no, definitely not inspired by any sort of young hotshot FBI agent played by.
Right. Someone else who maybe is named after a bird.
Correct.
Nope.
Could
this
have been
is
any
a
name. This is Clary Raven.
Perfect.
She's exactly inspired by the girl from Cannibal. Whatever.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So she walks in, but I like this. She's confident. She's a rookie. She's a hot shot, but she's not sheepish. She's ready to go.
Yeah, she had to get through the FBI training
Right.
with a bunch of Chads and Brads.
Oh man, that must stink. And I think she should like demand to speak with Bob in private immediately. And Bob's like, nothing here happens immediately, but I'll see what I can do. And she just slams the door, kicks out Bob's little assistants, and begins to tell Bob what we kind of know. The congressman's daughter's missing. And this Clary Raven is there to find this kidnapper before the stories hit the newswire, and says something that doesn't make any sense, like election year and all that is the reason for why this is happening.
Election years are perfect.
Right, which it always is, or almost
it's
is.
an election year. For what? For who? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't
the congressman's daughter was kidnapped, and now this is important. You've been losing people for 10 years.
Right.
But now it's important.
Right. Exactly. This one woman is finally, now we have some resources to throw at this town.
And now we know Mila Kunis was an important person.
She was important and is important. And this is probably a fun moment for Bob to try to give her like a rundown, kind of his mountain man wisdom, put on his best Quentin-like face. Beautiful. And and really think he's gonna scare her a little bit with what's happening on the street.
Show me who Bob is in this.
All right, let's see if we can do this. You know where you are right now. It's gonna be very piratey and Johnny the Depp. It's all right. We'll see you. Bob's got a lot of different characters inside him. He's a complex person. You know where you are right now, don't you? It's the only place in the world where we don't have to worry about serial killers or kidnappers or anything like that. Guys like that don't last an hour in these woods. No, we've got something far worse that keeps us up at night. Surprise, a little desk jockey from DC like you. You'll be surprised every day here.
And I don't think she gives one single shit about Bob's
she doesn't.
Backwoods bullshit. She's like, I don't care if you're hunting aliens. I don't care about your poop journal.
Right.
I mean, I'm here to figure out what happened to this congressman's daughter.
100%.
This is my promotion. This is my job.
Right.
And I will do this with or without you.
Exactly right. I love that. Yeah, she doesn't care about any of his mumbo jumbo, his nonsense. She sees it.
You're exactly what I expected to get when I landed in this little podunk town, Sheriff Bob.
No wonder all these people go disappearing. I've got someone telling ghost stories here wearing a sheriff's badge.
You're literally reading a journal written in a man's poop.
And I'm supposed to trust you with anything.
This is crayon. That is not crayon.
It's not a crayon.
I can tell you that without my FBI degree.
Sure it is. Oh God, maybe you're right. That's okay. My poop's smelled like crayons for years.
Do you think, though, the important question is, do you think Clary's going to do her job? Do you think Bob's going to tag along?
Help, do nothing. Yeah, I mean, I think Bob, a couple things. I think Clary could just straight up say, like, look, I'm here. The first 48 hours of someone going missing are everything. Are you going to help me, or do you want to be the guy that didn't help find the congressman's daughter? So she kind of threatens him a little bit, which Bob maybe doesn't care about that as much. Maybe he does, but I think also Bob knows he's right, knows these woods can take whoever they want whenever, and kind of feels like a little responsible as the sheriff. You can't just let this novice FBI agent go wandering in the woods and be another person he's got to pretend to look for. So might as well go with her to make sure she doesn't get abducted or just like fall in an old mine pit, eaten by a bear. Like this is the West Virginia mountains, John. Things can happen.
True, she doesn't have
meth
bear
people
spray.
Could be captured. Right, no bear spray.
Big red flag for Bob. He's like, this
where's
girl,
your spray?
You're helpless.
What did you say to me?
I don't know how you got here.
Where's your spray? Show me your spray. What are you asking of me right now? I think this is a sexual assault. Your bear spray. Oh. I don't have that. I've got my 45.
But they do call it squirt. They call it squirt.
Bear squirt.
Show me your squirt. Show me your squirt and I'll come along with you.
Oh my God. I knew this. I knew it.
Expected you to be weird, but not that type of weird.
Not this forward about it. Yeah. It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Bear squirt.
Bear
Silly,
squirt.
your bear squirt.
We call it bear spray now. Whatever. It was bear squirt in my day. We made it ourselves.
Not your cooter splash.
That's how we attract the bears. We're trying to get them away.
I got a fine wife at home. Martha loves me.
So there's a loss of translation that happens for a little bit with Bob and Clary, but they get through it and agree to reluctantly. Bob kind of just follows her, follows along because she's moving at a mile a minute, and Bob is a West Virginia man moving as quick as he likes.
And she's coming federally funded from the FBI. What does she got? I want her to have like a super cool hidden missing person
gadgets.
device AI
Yes.
laser scanner.
Or how about this? I mean, this could be kind of fun. So they go to the woods, go to the trailhead where the congressman's daughter was last seen, and Bob kind of standing around, looking around, being like, what are you gonna do? Start sniffing the ground? Gonna start feeling for heat in the soil, looking at bent over leaves in the trees? And Clary just pulls out like a black light sensor and flicks it on and reveals that like elected officials, important people, there's a dye you can get to paint the bottom of their shoes. So if they ever go disappearing, they literally make tracks that show up in this black light, which is pretty cool and
Is that
fancy.
true? Do we really do that?
I
to
mean,
people?
I've just made it up, but also it could probably work, but who knows for how long. And then you're tracking dye into your house. There's probably a ton of downsides to it, but
we could put an AirPod in their pocket, but no, I like this world where
yeah.
every congressman, when they're elected in office,
That's right.
they're like, let me paint the bottom of your shoes
shoe.
and your gym shoes.
That's right. Any new shoes you buy, we need to see them first, sir.
You buy them from us.
That's right. We're your shoe guy now.
New Balance
that's
only.
Nice. Right. Yeah, that's it. Oh, New Balance got in early.
They
on
got the
game.
contract.
And this would be a fun moment for like for Bob to be like, that's pretty cool trick there. Just don't shine it at my. And she like flips the light up in Bob's pants, and it's just covered in stains all over his trousers and his arm. And she's like, oh God, no, that's not. I was painting the other
From
day.
a stakeout.
It's coffee and donut stains. That's all it is. And then Clary's like, oh, that's embarrassing. And the light maybe briefly shines on her face, revealing like splotches all over her cheek and like part of her hair. And Bob just stares and says nothing.
I didn't know you worked in the Clinton era.
That's right. What do you do after work? Getting to know our town pretty well, it looks like. What? Nothing. Let's follow that dumb light.
Looks like
up
you've
the
been
trail.
kicked in the face.
Oh, that's Bobby Jean's work, isn't it? the boy down at the hotel took your bags in, didn't he? He's got big muscles, that Bobby Jean. So yes, they both have lives outside of work. Good for them. And
Sure, good way to look at it. Really sex positive.
Sure, that's right, John. Hey, whatever. Bobby Jean, everybody wins.
Bob's little Bobby stick, totally covered in the end. Is that for him or Martha?
And
We
his
don't
gun.
know.
Right, we don't know. Bob's covered in all kinds of something. It shows up in her black light.
Hey, okay,
Bob's a
so
busy
we
guy.
use black
It's
lights
not fish guts.
to track missing important people.
Yeah, the footprints, like the actual footprints itself. And so they follow this trail up and they go through and end up in the clearing that we saw the night before with Mila Kunis's kidnapping. And the prints kind of stop for a second, but I think like Clary keeps going and finds a second pair of prints like facing the original pair, different pair of shoes, it looks like. And then those prints like combine in the ground in the tracks with the original prints they tracked from the parking lot through the woods, and then they transform into the same pairs of shoes. And both pairs of prints now, John, they walk up towards a fence on the other side of the clearing, and that fence is going to protect kind of the outer boundary of the mill. So now we've got some information. Some things are happening. The footprint
it's a
device
hot lead.
worked.
First 48 hours.
And yeah, it's all working, going according to plan, but there's this fence. And I think, rightfully so, Clary is like, what the hell is in there? And Bob probably takes the opportunity to jabber a little bit of like, well, your goons are the ones that keep it open. Shouldn't I be asking you? Don't you? Why don't you need armed men to watch over an empty mill, but you got them there anyway. And Clary's like, well, we're going there first thing in the morning. It's getting dark. And Bob's like, well, yeah, we need to be out of these woods. Oh, bears. You ordered my bear squirt again? Don't say that in the woods. And so they leave, and Bob probably heads home as anyone would. Long day. But I think something is going to be waiting for him that's a little bit of a surprise, John.
His wife, Martha.
Ah, Martha.
His lovely wife, Martha.
Lovely Martha.
When Bob gets home after what actually took a long time to do all the blacklight stuff Harrison talked about.
I was going to say, probably did.
Took a long time.
Of course, a lot of woods.
They had to go back to Radio Shack and get batteries for it because the batteries died twice. So Bob comes home to his lovely wife, Martha, and she's serving up dinner as she often is. This is like when Bob can't fish, he eats dinner with Martha. And
Yeah.
it's perfect West Virginia, like curtains on the window in the kitchen and a crock pot going with a bunch of
Yes.
grease on the oven and everything.
Cooking up grease tonight.
I emptied out the whole jar of bacon fat, but she doesn't say. Initially, when Bob comes home, she tries to as you got a wife that you
Yes.
know about.
Right.
Unrequested health prompts.
Oh my God!
So
Let me die. Let me die in peace.
you look tired, honey. Why don't you have a glass
I
of
look
water?
tired.
She gets him a glass of water.
Okay.
Bob, what's Bob? She tries to push. I'm going to say push. I won't say this if I'm talking to my wife. She tries to push a glass of water onto Bob after his day of work. Just hydrate a little bit, honey. You look tired.
Yeah. Wrong speed. I think Bob kind of chuckles like, "How long you know me? Dump that water on the plants. Hand me a beer."
And of course, the good West Virginia boy, Bob's always looking for either something from Addie's Brewing or
Yep.
a good old Stapleton lager.
There we
from
go.
The town up the road a little bit.
Yes.
When he replies like that, though, it kind of Martha like almost like glitches in the middle of her sentence. Her eyes just totally go flat, like deadpan. Her posture kind of locks up. And she starts talking in a bit of an accent. Bobby, you put the cannoli in your best team. You beat the meatballs, it must be bigger. The moon, it goes in the ocean, it comes out to the ocean.
Oh my God.
Which
What's
causes
happening?
Bob to just like spit his beer out.
Oh my God. Yes. I'm sure. Have a freak out. And it probably spits out all over Martha's face. But she doesn't flinch, John. She just kind of is frozen there, deadpan, unmoving, and just like keeps eye contact with Bob as she like almost mechanically like wipes the beer off her face, just as Bob is like reaching his hand up to kind of protect himself from whatever that's going to happen next. It's like she's mirroring his own movements as to wipe the beer off her own face. And Bob, of course, is freaked out. So he does what any self-respecting West Virginia man would. Reaches for his gun.
Yeah.
So reaches down for his belt where his weapon is and draws it just as Martha probably lets out like a creepy kind of like groan from The Thing.
Okay.
Type groan and just jumps out like the kitchen window and scampers off into the night.
I forgot to tell you that Martha in this movie is going to be played by Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, cool.
Who would be perfect for that role. Just wanted to include that since we did it for Mila.
She would be great.
And her sister, Natalie Portman.
Cartwheeling in our hearts forever.
So I think she flies out the window, goes into the night, and I think that takes us out of Act 1, and we're getting into what's going to become Act 2.
Yeah, I mean, Bob's in the deep now. He's got his only ally, we'll say, his wife, seems to be out of the picture, seems to not be his wife anymore. And also he's kind of doing
he was reaching for his gun.
Right.
So.
Yeah. He's doing the quick math of like, oh my God, if my wife is taken.
He knows
what
about
else?
the copy that. He's
for sure.
He doesn't know. He's never met it, but he kind of knows.
Well, and according to the YouTuber, he like cornered it once, supposedly, and we'll probably never learn that backstory, but Bob's been hunting this thing for a long time. And Bob's like on the ground. There could be like the conspiracy theorists online that have deep, ridiculous theories about them with the Illuminati or aliens or whatever. But Bob doesn't care about that. Bob just knows what he sees, knows what's in the files, knows what's in the poop journal, and knows that this thing is not a person. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows it's something that can't be messed with. And yes, has had enough encounters to believe that maybe it can do things humans can't do, like copy itself into other people. But he doesn't have any concrete anything.
Yep.
Just hunches. He's living off hunches. He's having hunches
and faith and a lot of weird sex with his wife.
That's right. He needs a new pair of pants, it sounds like, based on the Blacklight episode. But that's a problem for another day. Right now, he's got a bigger mounting problem in this town. The copy that is out and copying away. So it's the perfect time to send us in to Act 2.
And now we begin Act 2.
So Act 2, I say we start at the mill. We're picking up the next morning. Bob, Bob and his wife, that was the thing. He ended up sleeping alone for the first time in 40 years.
Just sat up all night with his revolver in his hand in the
not
kitchen.
sleeping, exactly.
Right,
like
just
sitting at the chair.
Exactly right. Just nodding off. ready to fire at anything that makes a noise. So he's in a little bit of rough shape. But yes, they said Clary and Bob said they'd go to the mill the next day, so they can start with them meeting there. And maybe Bob.
Is he gonna? I was gonna ask. Is he gonna tell her? Is he gonna tell her what happened to his wife? Or
I think he's debating it up until the moment he like sees her, and before he can say anything, Clary, like a DC lady or anyone, DC human would, interrupts him immediately.
Definitely a lady.
What's wrong with the cell service in this town? None of my phones work. Well, I called for an update this morning. I got nothing.
How many phones do you have?
Right, exactly. She's just got problems and wants everyone to know about it, which kind of startles Bob enough and to put his problems in the back seat for a second. And really, he should, because he's got, potentially a lot of work ahead of him. He's got to negotiate with these guards, get in the mill, make up a story, maybe sneak in if they don't let him. Like his brain's moving as fast as it can.
For a man that didn't sleep and almost shot his wife.
That's right. And it's from West Virginia. So he's got everything stacked against him. But they pull up to the gate, and in a bit of a twist, they expect to see guards, John, and be met with some resistance. But no one is at the guard post. So they're just empty.
Fishy.
The gate's up. It's all unlocked. And so they just kind of head inside the mill, and they discover something strange. I think as they walk in, expecting to see,
it's an underground sex club.
That's right. It's Natalie Portman doing cartwheels around a giant room. That's why I know it at the post. Let's see what sex happening inside the mill. It's the old sex mill. No, this isn't a David Lynch show, but not yet. But there is a creepy mill. So they get in there, and how about this? So they walk in expecting to see mill stuff, whatever's inside a mill.
Yeah, for sure. Little big wheels grinding up small wheels.
Sure, that's it. Lots of gears.
Chaff.
Yep, all those things. But there's almost
metal buckets.
Yes, buckets, piping, turbines,
there you go.
Gears, noises, steam
Burlap
going
bags,
off.
Plastic bags.
There we go. Yep. Buckets of things and other things with buckets in them, and
a cork board with schedules on it.
Maybe a forklift.
We're getting good at mills, man.
We can
We're
see the mill now.
Mills.
See the mill. But they walk in expecting that, but there's almost nothing. It's like a giant room, and it's almost completely empty. Maybe they see off in the distance, kind of towards the far wall, it looks like a bunch of like sandbags and machine guns, which
machine guns.
Yep. Yes. Obviously weird.
Not part of a mill.
Not part of a mill.
Normally, not part of a mill. I think 1945 era Germany had them in their mills, but
unless you're a lead farmer, John, you don't need a machine gun in your mill. But so they see that, pause on that for a moment, but also see like a control room up above everything, which looks like the most mill-like thing in there, the most normal thing. So I think Bob and Clary, they kind of go up and check out the control room first. But Bob, I want Bob to have like a nice, backwoods wisdom moment as he looks around at what is clearly not a mill, and Bob has to announce like, "Hey, this was never a mill. It was something else. Me daddy was a mill man. Came home smelling of bolts every night. Bolts and wheat chaff. None of that smell in here. No wheat chaff for miles."
Claire's like, thanks, Bob. I think the machine guns kind of gave that away, but we'll use that line in the trailer.
That's
too.
Right. Yeah.
This was never a
This was never a mill. Not a chaff to be seen.
Yeah, cool. You think so, Bob? There's blood on the ceiling.
Exactly. Yes.
What are you making? Human meat?
Right. Right. What is this a mill for? Death. And so they're all on the same page, Bob and Clary, and they go up to the control room. Inside, bunch of bullet holes, and how about like drips of blood leading to a giant button on this control panel. I want the button to say next to it, backspace protocol, push to open. And then Bob kind of looks at that, looks across through the window of the control room, across the wall to like the sandbags and the machine guns, pointing at the vault. There's a vault door on the wall that's slightly open. And Bob's like, "Oh my God, did they let this thing out?"
Yes,
like,
the mill was a sham. Right.
Bob's trying to piece it together that either something went wrong or something went right, but it looks like They let what maybe is terrorizing the town out of some jail, something, and the people here did it. The government did it. This was all a big setup, but they don't know that for sure. Bob just has another hunch in his huge bag of hunches that powers him through his days.
Even walks with a hunch.
That's right. He walks with a hunch, a big old thick hunch. They call him Bob the Thick Hunch. so the ladies call him downtown.
That's just what Martha calls him.
Right, you're right. Just Martha calls him the Thick Hunch. Everyone else knows something about it. But so they need answers, obviously, and I want them to kind of approach the vault now. And as they get closer, they're noticing like bullet shells all over the ground, bullet holes in the wall, around the door. And Clary, I think, perks up and is like, what the hell are we looking at? Like, did you hear gunfire last night? And Bob does more backwoods wisdom, reaches down to one of the shells as if he's a Native American, but he picks it up and he realizes it's covered in dust. So he actually has an easy job of concluding, like, well, this didn't happen last night.
Elementary,
right.
my dear Clary.
Right. These bullets are only been here for a while on the ground. But I want them to draw their guns anyway and move towards the vault door and turn on their flashlights, John. And what is going to be behind the vault? What the heck are they hiding? What is it? A cage. Marissa Tomei naked. What's behind the vault?
That's a
cartwheeling.
I think it's Natalie Portman doing naked cartwheels still. I think I love the cinematography, so I just want to include,
yes,
as they do this, there's an opportunity to show the difference between Bob and Clary. Clary pulls out a modern Glock 19 with a red dot sight.
Yep.
Bob pulls from his leather holster a 6-shot revolver.
Old as the hills.
An Old Navy revolver.
There we
Still
go.
Works. Never had a problem with. So it's a good way to kind of show the difference between them.
That.
And when they open the vault, it's a big cave. It's a big hole.
Yes.
They found a big hole. There's no Natalie Portman. There's no black light stains on the edge of the hole with giant kaijus making love to West Virginia. It's just they see the mouth of a giant cave.
Yes. Perfect. All right, good.
And I think in here, this is probably for Bob. This is the time to kind of reveal, like, hey, something weird happened with my wife last night.
Right. God. Yeah. And maybe he even thinks, like, is Martha down there, or like whatever's left of Martha? She flew out the window last night. So maybe he's thinking of her in this moment too.
I think in Bob's head, which runs on hunches that are instantly true until proven wrong. Bob knows that his wife is down there.
Right.
Every kidnapped person for the last 10 or so years is down in this hole.
It could be his whole career. All the mistakes he blamed himself for. Going to be
the only one who ever got out was Old Man Gibbles, and he pooped himself to death.
Poop himself to get out.
Every other missing person is just down here, and for whatever reason, a cult, a Satan cult, someone is grabbing these people and bringing them down there.
Right.
But Bob also knows that his wife Martha spoke this weird broken Italian accent and wasn't herself, and jumped out the window and ran away. So it's not just a demon cult; it's like something maybe a demon itself. And I want him to try and like explain this to Clary, because
might be about to get weird, and she needs to know what she's walking into.
And what if Clary is also the same thing that his wife did? Like when he came home, she was like, "Oh, let me get you a glass of water," and then all of a sudden she's glitching out on him. So I think he's kind of scared too.
That's right.
Like, how do I know who to trust?
Right. If you look like your family, you can't trust anything you see. So Bob probably has
We're gonna have to fuck.
How will that prove? Just let me think. Let's have sex and think about it. Gonna clear my head. Turn that black light off. We're on. And so I think
that's how I know when I'm done.
That's right. I guess the only way I can tell. That's why there's so much. I never know when to stop.
I want Bob to be played by the Paul Blart, the mall cop.
But no, it's Kevin James.
And what the hell? We'll have Clary Starling be played by Leah Remini.
Oh, sweet.
So it's just a remake of King of Queens.
Oh my God. But yes, they hate each other a little less in this one. All right. So, all right, that's good. And I think so. Bob has probably some like backwoods wisdom that of like a plan that he's like, all right, well, if we can't trust our eyes, we should probably have some kind of protocol as we're going in these caves to make sure we're actually who we think we are. And they devise like well, first of all, they probably should have like walkie-talkies now too. So we are going to bring walkie-talkies into this movie.
Of course,
John.
they're cops.
It's called copy
they
that.
have walkie-talkies, standard issue for anyone that is in any way, shape, or form a cop, all the way from corrections officer up to president of the United States.
Perfect.
Walkie-talkies.
Everyone has walkie-talkie. And so they probably drum up some idea, or Bob offers up this idea of like, we got to be able to, every 3 minutes when we're down there in the caves, it might get dark. We might lose our lights if we get separated. We got to be able to confirm that we are who we think we are and when we call in on the walkie-talkie every 3 minutes, repeat a randomized code word so that we know we're not the copy that.
But it can't
creature.
be and Clary's like, well, it can't be the same word every time. Like we've gone through this in our cryptography class, but we don't have time to come up with a system. We don't do encryption. Like, how are we gonna do this?
We need a pattern. And Bob's like, a pattern, like a song. And she's like, yeah, songs can be patterns, but and he's like, I've got it. I know exactly what we'll do. And so they proceed to.
Please don't make it Chumbawamba.
Yeah, we've already done Chumbawamba. There are a lot of other great songs out there.
At least two other ones when we'll use them all in this podcast. But I think then they proceed to every 3 minutes start reciting line by line the great Rick Astley hit "Never Gonna Give You Up." Perfect.
To each other. They're Rickrolling each other in these caves, John, just to make sure they're still humans.
Let's try it from the start, okay,
right.
Clary? We've
oh boy. Hold on. We've been
known.
Wait, what?
I think we've known each other for so long.
Together.
Maybe it is we've been together.
It might be known.
They're gonna have to pull up Spotify, and the cell phone reception's bad. But luckily, Rick has a CD Walkman, and he can play. I can't remember if it's we've known each other. We've been together. I think it's.
I've only heard it
together.
a million times.
I just know the chorus.
Yeah,
which is no good. We need to. Anyway,
we need to start.
We've been together for so long. Something.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They'll play it through once to make sure so they don't kill each other just because they don't know the lyrics.
That's a good. I like this as a pattern. Like if you are worried that something is kind of copying other people, then you have to rely on it knowing the lyrics to "Never Gonna Give You Up," which we've just proven is more difficult than you think.
Than we think.
And it's like a ping pong back and forth. So it's not like you just say the same code word every time.
But you know what you should say next without revealing it, unless this creature knows about Rick Astley, which if they've been around for a while, maybe they do, but they have to be listening to the radio, which I don't know if like a creepy interdimensional being would be doing that necessarily, who's hell-bent on stealing people in the night.
Yeah, and they'd be listening to Lil Wayne or not Rick Astley. They wouldn't start there.
You're
probably.
Right. You're probably right, John.
Here's a good time to kind of break down the science of this creature.
All right, let's do it.
Not even necessarily like part of the movie, but just for everyone listening and for myself.
Yep.
Is this creature an alien, a demon, something else? Is it made of sound?
That's a good, all good questions. So I don't think it isn't an alien. It isn't some kind of genetic clone. I think it's like a subterranean acoustic mimic, John.
Okay.
So like
underground. I got that part.
Yep, underground. And then acoustic meaning in this case, he doesn't have a cool guitar and he's playing Jack Johnson.
That's where I was, yeah.
Nope.
Just a guitar not plugged in, right?
That's right. He's basically using like sonar.
Okay.
So he's mapping his targets through like cellular resonance and micro vibrations of your vocal cords in person over radio frequencies. But it can listen to, so it could listen to the radio, but also walkie-talkies.
Ooh.
And through cell phones, the TV. So it can absorb
messages you leave us at speakpike.com/beer me that movie.
Yeah, do that. And so it can gather data and information through these sound waves somehow. We don't need to explain that. It's just how it works. Kind of like a dolphin monster can use the power of vibrations to
Sound waves.
find out
Okay.
a ton about you, more than just how you sound, but how you look.
What
like
about
how your Wi-Fi can just knows how big you
there
are
and then
now.
be gone, and also see around a corner,
It's
but not
terrifying.
stay connected when I need it.
Right, not if you're pooping.
What? Okay, so it's a subterranean dolphin monster.
Yes.
What are we need to give it? I just want just for me, I need to know
Yes.
like what are its flaws? You can't see good. It's afraid of water. It's bad at math.
If
Like
only, yeah, that sounds a lot like someone I know, but it's not
Me?
me down there. Oh, it's just a shower, Harrison.
poops
I
from the
won't
same
take
hole
it.
it eats from.
Right, that's it. That could be an advantage. I don't have taste buds. That could be an advantage. If you do, it's hell. It's
Very
hell on earth.
efficient unless you can taste.
This isn't enjoyable at all. All right. So I think what its flaw though could be is that it's essentially 5,000 years old. So it lacks all the
It's old enough to be president of the United States.
easily, just about, but doesn't have any of like the kind of cultural nuance that you would need to interact with humans. So it probably doesn't know how awesome Rick Astley is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for it, like Beethoven is the new bop.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it can build like the vocal cords of whatever it copies perfectly, but it gets trapped in like its limited knowledge. Like it basically creates
It's AI. Damn it.
broken looping feedback. Exactly. Broken loops of like half ideas, and it'll reproduce irrelevant, themes and sayings and
Okay.
whatever, just because it doesn't understand what it's really talking about most of the time. At least it hasn't up until now. It's limited in what it's able to reproduce, at least right away. And perhaps it's building towards some kind of like a larger sentience as it continues to copy things. It'll become more intelligent as it gathers more human knowledge by copying people.
Okay.
That we don't know, but we know it behaves basically like a massive, highly territorial ghost cat that is right now playing with its dinner. It's going through this town, and we know it's
I like the catness of it. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Like cats are pure dick.
yes, they
Soft. You can love
Right.
them. You can hate them, but
Terrifying.
they're going to be
Right.
a dick no matter what. And
Yes.
that's a good.
Yeah, so
way
that's
to-
essentially what this thing is doing. It's an ancient creature, right? That is getting a lot of joy out of
Yes.
hunting and copying all these
Playing
people.
with its food.
But to what end we don't know. But I feel like it should be getting smarter and a little bit better as it continues to be successful, better at mimicking humans.
Honestly, I wish
and
every
if it gets
weird,
too good, then we have a real
Yeah,
problem,
for sure.
right? So now it's with the gobbledygook out of Martha's mouth. We know it's talking about cannolis and meatballs and stuff, and she get picked up by the first cop that pulls her over and thrown to the nut house for being a goofball. That copycat wouldn't get that far in just Martha's body to rain havoc over the world. But again, we don't know. What if it copies the entire town?
It was
John?
convincing enough to offer the glass of water.
Right. It
but
started
then
out well.
something happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
like
it ran into a dead end, and its programming just fell apart, essentially.
I wish every monster movie gave me a monster breakdown somewhere in the middle when I'm asking all these questions.
Sometimes a crazy-haired scientist does in the movie. Tonight it's just
That's
me.
true. Okay. Well, accurate.
Our own crazy-haired scientist.
Okay, so getting back to the actual movie, Bob and Clary headed into this cave.
Yes.
And that seems dumb.
It does.
Like
they've gotta
I
do it,
probably
John.
would not, but it's a sheriff
brave.
and a young hotshot
That's
FBI
right.
agent.
She's still trying to be like, all right, there's a body of a congressman's daughter down here. I got to bring the body back.
Whatever it
That's my
takes to
job.
get my next
That's right.
lapel pin.
I want out of here. I want to get my promotion.
Does she have a new technology, or is she still going?
She's
does
just
she got the
rocking that
black
black
toy?
light tracker, and now she points at Bob's shoes that are also covered in a bunch of gobbledygook, and so she just
I
tries
was
to
home alone
ignore
last
that.
night.
That's right. You know what happened? I can't stop myself. That's why I'm so dehydrated. Okay, overshare. But she turns the black light tracker on, and sure enough, tracks on the floor again, the same footprints from the woods earlier. And so they follow them. It's two sets of footprints into the caves. They're going for a little while, but then the cave, of course, splits, and one pair of tracks goes to the left, One pair of tracks goes to the right. So naturally, as you never do,
Never split up, right?
But-
That's what they say, right?
they, I guess, feel like they kind of have to. So
Okay,
Bob and Clary
I know,
split
I
up,
know.
and they have the radios. So, that makes them feel a little good about it. They get to sing Rick Astley to each other as
Never.
they gonna
Never. Gonna give, never gonna give.
Yep,
It's me, Clary, it's me.
And so I think that should basically be what happens as Bob and Clary kind of move further away from each other. Clary should kind of come on the radio and say something. What is she going to tell him, John? Is she going to discover something down there?
Yeah, I think Clary has a lot of luck in her expedition.
Okay.
And we're following Bob, and we hear her
Yes.
radio over.
Yep.
Over. Sheriff, I found the cave lair. Come down to the ravine. Copy that?
And Bob is immediately like excited, but then freezes and is like, hits the button to call her back and says, yeah, Clary, pass the code word verification. And then just the radio goes silent again for a little too long.
Agonizing.
And then her voice comes back and
The safety word is cannoli, Bob. Push the fish up the beach and get down here.
oh no, that's not how Never Gonna Give You Up goes.
You don't remember that line?
Yeah, nothing about cannolis.
Bob's trying to replay the song in his head.
Never
Push a fish up the beach.
fish
Never
up
gonna
the
fish
beach.
up the beach.
No, that doesn't. Oh my God. And so I think Bob at that moment realizes that the entity, the copy that, isn't just lurking in the trees, in the woods, hidden in the shadows, inside Martha, or is Martha. It successfully intercepted their conversation that Clarice and him have been having. At least that's his hunch. Put it in the
It's
bag.
an acoustic underground dolphin demon.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it can also manifest sound.
It definitely can. And at this moment, we don't know as Bob, as the audience, is Clary, has she been taken by the copy that, or is the copy that just mimicking her voice and jumping into the radio to cause confusion in the caves to protect something in the caves? We don't know, but I think Bob has really only one option in his mind. He has to assume that both those things could be true. Either Clary has been compromised and is waiting for him as the copy that at the top of the cave, or the copy that is out there waiting for him as some other form. So he just has to keep going down. The only way out is through, John.
That's often the scariest thing you have to say when you're in a terrible place.
That's right. So he keeps going down the path, and this will be that kind of like fun scene as he gets to like the end of this part of the cave. He comes into a room, and what's revealed is something like would scramble most men's mind with how and turn them insane with madness. But Bob handles it just fine. He sees a giant black like vortex looking hole just swirling in the air like some amoebic orb in
Like
the
a
middle of
dimension
this
gate,
cave.
sorta?
Exactly right.
Okay.
And it's surrounded by like a bunch of government sensors, a bunch of empty bullet shells and guns. And
How can you
know,
tell they're government censored? They
Because
cost 100 times
I was gonna
more,
say,
and
right,
most of them
that's
don't
$1
work.
million camera.
Yeah.
The lens fell out of. That one didn't even get knocked down. It just broke
It's called
standing up.
Only Sonic.
Right. So there's just all kinds of things plugged in looking at this object, or at one time was. I don't think it's plugged in anything now. But Bob jumps to another conclusion. Those bastards knew. They knew something was coming out of these. And he kind of looks at the vortex, trying to figure out what to call it. Just says, the caves, taking people from into the woods. So a lot's going to go over Bob's head, but again, it doesn't matter. He can get to the nuts and
He's
bolts
got the hunch.
quickly, and he's got a bag full of hunches. My
Yeah,
God, it's
he's not
dragging
one
him
to
down.
get dragged down by little intricacies
Yeah.
or details.
No,
The
he's a
government
man of
knew,
action.
The government
fishing.
did this, and
That's
there's an
right.
alien sort of monster thing
That's right.
that maybe
want-
kidnapped my
I just
wife.
want
and
my town back.
I want to
just want
fish
me
for
Martha
one-headed
back.
fish.
Right. I want to fish. Right. I want one-headed fish in the pond. What do I got to do? Kill this thing? Fine, I'll kill it.
And so now we've taken our, if we can call him a hero,
Yes,
and we've
our
put him
Bob.
into kind of a rough situation at the end of a cave. Great spot to end Act 2. We'll see you in
yeah.
Act 3 when we wrap this thing up together in a nice tiny bow.
Let's see where this is all going. We begin the third act.
So I think Act 3, we avoid explaining the rest of the cave situation.
Yeah,
I want Act 3 to open with kind of action.
I agree. Yeah, and let's just have Bob kind of running out of the cave. He's got his gun drawn. Like he has no choice. He's got to go up there, and if Clary's there, he's got to have to deal with it when he gets there. But there is no Clary. She's gone, as far as we can tell. As he gets to the top of the cave where the vault is, and maybe her like black light is on the ground. Bob grabs it.
Of course.
Why
this
not?
Could be fun.
Exactly right. I've got to see how far this thing can read. I got a distance. I got a competition.
Check my walls.
Check my
Maybe
ceiling.
the ceiling, yeah.
Check the neighbor's yard. Got all kinds of things. Those bushes next to Mary's house. Gonna clean up my mess. So too much evidence all over this town of what Bob does at night. So, but that's a problem for another day. Jumps in his cruiser, just full throttles it back into town. And I think his plan right now is like, all right, I'll get the buddies together. We'll rally at the local bar. The game's on, so I know they'll be there, and that'll be good to see the score. But really, I got to set up an armed perimeter, and they'll all have guns with them at the bar, even though they shouldn't. And I've told them that because I'm the sheriff, but they don't listen. I know they'll be armed. They'll be half drunk, half cocked, ready to rock. We're going to the bar to hunker down there, have a pint, wait for this thing to all blow over, as it were. But I think he's going to be met with just more surprises. Bob is going to have one of those nights, John, and it's already started, but I think he's expecting a normal kind of Tuesday game night,
big college,
situation.
Big Marshall game.
That's it. Sure. Exactly right. And that's not what he sees on Main Street. It's like he pulls up in his cruiser, the neon bar signs, they're buzzing. But
you can hear them buzzing because
right.
It's a ghost town.
There we go.
In Bobstown. Bobstown, ghost town.
Bobstown,
not
ghost
even
town.
no cars on the road. Not even wind.
Yes.
Just to make it creepy. Like the monster
like
doesn't
that.
control the wind, but there's not even wind.
And even the trees are afraid of him, John. Everyone's afraid to copy
It's
that.
just totally still. No one's trying to get noticed. But Bob notices this, but it doesn't stop him. I think he's gonna march up to it's called Curly's Tavern.
Perfect.
And known for their straight French fries.
For some dumb reason. Curly, you're missing an opportunity. Straight as
Kicks
fries.
the door open, and what does he see in the tavern, Harry?
Ooh. It's going to be a fun scene of, right, again, we're expecting it to be packed. That's where all the people are. The streets are empty because they're all getting drunk at Curly's, eating those dumb straight fries he's got. Thinking of trying out tater tots. Curly, just do what we all want you to do. Stop with this. But he walks in there and sees like a bunch of beers half poured on the counter, but the room is also empty. And so maybe in a moment of like panic, pulls his walkie-talkie out, screams for Clary. Come in, Clary. Forgetting that she may already be copied. She may be dead, whatever.
But I think that moment in the film, okay,
Yeah.
this is a movie. He screams for Clary, then he realizes he's probably alone and Clary's already been. And that is when we start to hear Clary's voice.
Ooh.
Muffled. It's coming from the kitchen, but also the jukebox and also the bathroom.
Yep.
And it's just kind of this overlapping harmonic mechanical echo where Clary is and I think she's just saying like, Bob.
Yes.
Bob.
Or she could be creepily repeating like, never gonna give you.
Push a fish into the sea.
And he's like, I guess the jukebox is broken. No.
Beat the mic ball, make it big. Cannoli team.
Cannoli team. Yes. Lots of
Scares the shit out of Bob.
absolutely. Cannoli team. What the fuck's a cannoli team? And so
The Italian World Cup team.
that's right. Of course. And he walks out, runs out probably into the main street.
for
'cause he's
sure.
freaked out. It's also loud in there, getting yelled at by all kinds of audio devices. And I think as he steps onto the street, let's ramp the creepiness up even more, John. What's he greeted by? What happens?
This is where the movie comes together.
It's very shining.
As soon as he kicks open that door, we
Yeah.
see effectively everyone that's ever gone missing, everyone that's ever been part of the town. Like maybe we kind of like Edward Scissorhands
I
a
was
little
just thinking
bit,
the
and
same
like
exact thing.
all the town door, all the
Yep.
home doors, like click,
Yep.
and everybody opens
Yep.
and walks out, and but there's also like Bob sees
In unison, right at the
his
same time.
wife.
Yep.
Bob sees his secretary, the deputies, his The congressman's daughter is there. Agent Clary Raven is there.
Yep.
And I think even, let's make it big. Let's put the congressman himself, who Bob knows from the signs that they put in for the election year. The congressman himself is there, and they're all just staring, unblinking at Bob, total blank faced, just staring at him as Clary's voice plays in the bar behind him.
Like a bunch of pod people.
Fish into the ocean now. Ocean is the largest sea.
Yeah, and so Bob has that realization. His face is washed over with horror, and he knows what we kind of all are hopefully knowing and figuring out right now as well, that this mimic, the copy that didn't just infiltrate one home tonight, it has been slowly harvesting his entire town for weeks, maybe years ago this started. And as Bob looks around at everyone in the town on the street now, just staring at him in unison, and then they probably all start repeating as well, like the "never gonna give you
all the
never
same
gonna
screwed
cannoli
up
team, tap your meatball." And then so Bob's like, "Tap your meatball."
Nintendo is a PlayStation. What?
And so yeah, Bob is realizing he's the last one. He's the only original piece of meat left, John.
Yes.
On this charcuterie board of hell that he's found himself in. And so what happens next? I think the
Congressman played by the once great and now maybe less regarded Kevin Spacey.
Perfect. He was a creepy congressman before. He can be it again.
Exactly. He's great for this role, and maybe he's a terrible person. I don't know, but he's in Hollywood, so probably. But he's still good for this role, so we're going to cast him. That's what we do.
That's right. That's what we do.
I knew
Roll
it
the
was
dice.
only a matter of time before someone important stumbled into these woods. Someone that could help me finish what I started here, what I started everywhere. The congressman smiles as he delivers this message, but it's not his voice.
Okay. Yeah, right. It's some kind of gargly, maybe broken voice a little bit, but perhaps the clearest we've seen the mimic since the Martha incident. And I like this. Congressman smiling, clearly taking over Bob's town is just the beginning. And so Bob could pull his gun out and start shooting the entire town, but there's a lot of people there.
He's only got a 6-shooter too.
So I think in a moment of hidden pride and also honor, he honorably runs away.
Honorably runs away.
Bob's just like,
honestly, what would you do?
Exactly right.
I'm going to a place where I have come on my walls.
The safe place that smells fine. A place that I know. But I think, we all understand that we're going to run home when things go south. So that's where his brain goes, a primal instinct perhaps, but he follows it until the better plan arises out of his hunch bag.
True.
He's just running home, slams the door, locks all the deadbolts, puts the sofa up against the door in the kitchen, grabs his rifle, and is kind of like staring at the door, I think, when he hears kind of the crunching, the unmistakable crunching of a man eating a perfectly crispy, greasy piece of pizza behind him, John. He spins around to see he's not alone.
Not at all. He's watching himself eat a leftover pizza from Shirley's Pizzeria and Pie Joint. And he's like instinctually walking backwards, like absolute psychological destroyification. This copy that mimic creature
somehow
has now even copied Bob in front of him in his own kitchen.
Right. It's gotten strong enough with the town behind him, or the town copy, the copy that is almost unstoppable, I think. It can just copy Bob. It can perfectly surround the house.
And eat his own pizza.
And eat his own pizza somehow. The sound wave blob. Right. Oh, okay. So Bob stumbles back in horror again.
He's noticed like the pictures of him and his wife are all flipped upside down.
Ooh, okay.
He somehow notices that his toilet has been upper decked. And
That's how you poop. These idiots. This stupid copy doesn't know how to use a toilet. He's been shitting to the top part.
as he exclaims to see the top part of his toilet full of poop, he hears himself in the kitchen laughing.
Yep.
And then in his own
where
voice,
that came from.
he says, Copycat Bob says to Bob,
Yes.
Sometimes he kills you, Bob.
Ooh.
Sometimes he just keeps you around like a little play toy, like a giant cat that likes to watch you run around the kitchen before dinner.
Oh,
As
shit.
he crunches into Bob's last piece of pizza.
Right. And he eats it from the crust first because he doesn't know how to eat pizza.
Of course.
So he's just sucking the tips of the pizza now.
Only the bones.
Right. Yeah, spitting the wing meat on the ground and eating the bones. So again, horrible mockery of a human, but that's what the copy of that does. Not figured it all out yet. To our hilarity.
He knows they put things in their mouth and gnash on
And
it.
mash on him. And he likes it. He thinks. As much as a jarbled bunch of sound waves
I think
can.
this is enough for Bob to Martha himself through the same window that Martha ran through.
There's already a hole there. Right. You don't have to
Hasn't
worry
fixed it
about
yet because it just happened last night.
That's right. So he goes, screw this. Right. Jumps out into the yard, like rolling through the grass. But he, of course, is surrounded by like the massive, silent, creepily expanding circle of these clones that were once his friends, family, even himself. And of course, Agent Raven is there too. But it's not Agent Raven. It's the copy of that version. And she kind of zombie waddles up to Bob, who's kind of trying to stand up in his own yard, covered in tears and all kinds of blacklight goo. And she says something to the effect of like, I know you're an old school guy, Bob, but you need to be open to new ideas. It'll cleanse your soul. So she's like there trying a different approach of like, maybe we can invite Bob, like pod people or the body snatchers. They're like, maybe
we're going to get you.
Maybe we can invite Bob in and he won't run and we can just end this now. Dumb plan, doesn't work. But Bob has an epiphany after hearing Clary say this stuff. And so he picks the oldest looking clone, some old lady, pushes her down.
Perfect.
Runs to his cruiser, jumps in, and flies up
His mother-in-law.
to the mill. Right, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect opportunity. I never liked you, Nancy. Bam. Right into the gravel driveway. As she falls backwards like a turtle. Can't get up. And Bob
So he's running
peels
to the
out.
mill.
Yeah, he's peeling out. He's going towards the mill. And he gets there immediately. None of the copy that's know how to drive because, again, they can't even eat pizza the right way. Why would they know how to drive a car?
Fair point.
So he knows he's got a couple minutes on him at least. Rushes up to the control panel inside the mill where he sees the button from before, the backspace protocol. Yeah, so where it says push to open. And Bob kind of has realization of, oh, this wasn't to open the vault. This wasn't to open and let the copy that out. This was in case the copy that got out. They were trying to press this button that night. This button is going to blow up the dam. And then we get to see this cool shot where like pan out kind of out of the control panel across the mill. You see the
Love
reservoir.
a good long shot.
Yep.
Yes.
And then at the end of the reservoir, you see the dam. And as we go a little bit higher, you see beyond the dam is Bob's town beneath it. And it's filled with copy that's, of course. So that was always the plan of the government was to blow up. If the copy that got out, took over the town, they could flood the town instantly with this dam explosion. So Bob says something super awesome that Bruce Willis would say in striking distance, like, I hope you like staying hydrated, you freaks. And then smashes the button on the control panel, and the dam explodes, sending water cascading down over the town, engulfing all the copy that's, drowning them immediately, of course. And Bob, exhausted, walks down from the control panel right into the rest of the mill, ready for a well-earned pizza and nap.
Drown the town, problem solved.
That's right. Yeah, drown the town, problem solved.
The very
Bob's a
Bobbist
simple
way
man.
to finish his job for the day.
That's right.
I am
Well,
finally getting some rest
I'm
and
gonna
putting
delete
new
this.
stains on my shoes.
Exactly right. So Bob thinks he's won, but I think we've got a couple surprises for him, John. I want this to not be the victory we all think it is. I think there's going to be some rain on poor sweet Bob's parade. in the form of the Copy That.
Well, if you know anything about monsters, it's that you can never kill them, only succumb to them.
That's right. So give into your own monster today. Cover your shoes in more black-light goo. Just
fine.
keep going.
It's fine. It's the best thing we can do with our Wi-Fi. And so Bob explodes the dam, drowns the town, walks back out to his car, and he sees the congressman there.
Oh, son of a gun.
With Clary and a handful, like seven individuals from town. Congressman Clary, Congressman's daughter Mila Kunis back in the shot one more time.
Okay.
And the congressman lets Bob, like the congressman being there is problematic.
Exactly right. I think Bob addresses it right away, and it's like, it's over. I'm blowing up your portal or whatever the hell that thing is in the bottom of the cave next. I'm going to shoot you all. That'll be it. You lost. After all these years, I've got you.
Almost.
Oh, you don't think I'll do it? I know these aren't my real neighbors sitting next to you. I know they're all dead.
But what if I could save them?
I know you can't. And then I think Bob just pulls his revolver out and starts firing, dropping the Copy That one by one, bang, 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 and then lands on the last one. And it's, of course, just good old Clary Raven standing there dead-eyed right in front of Bob as he holds his gun steady. And Bob takes a moment and says, I'm sorry. I know it's not you, but I'm sorry. I failed the real Clary Raven. And then, without hesitation, pulls the trigger, but click, click. He's out.
Like I said, Bob, click, click. There were 7 of us came. 1 for each of your bullets, plus 1 more.
Oh.
And we see the copycat Clary smile for the first time, and it's gross.
Oh, my God. And then Bob just tries to run away and surrounded by the beautiful West Virginia sky again, screaming at the top of his lungs, "What do you want from me?" And how about like out of the lake, John, like zombies, all the Copy That's from the town just walk up, emerge, seemingly unaffected by the dam flooding.
Humans don't need air. We don't need air.
Not the Copy That. They're just a jumble of vibrations or something. And then in kind of perfect, horrific, synchronized harmony, all 100 plus now, Copy That's kind of just slowly raise their hands and say together the final line of the movie.
Copy that.
And then it fades to black as they surround good old Bob. He's out of bullets, out of hope, out of things to make the black light glow. It's just him and the West Virginia sky and a sad, sad fate.
If this reminds you of your life, we need to talk.
So when I said I wanted a sad ending, Harrison, that got pretty close for us.
Yeah,
We don't necessarily get to see what happened to Bob, but effectively,
we know.
Yeah, we whatever you're doing in your head is probably better than I could have done to make a sadder ending.
Right.
That was I really, who doesn't love a sad ending?
Poor
like
Bob.
you hate it.
You hate it.
But it's also like it feels more real life, realistic.
Right, exactly.
But let's see if Harrison, in our Beer Me That Movie fashion, if you can take this home with sort of an epilogue, maybe a day or two after the dam explodes, for instance. That'd probably be known about at least in West Virginia.
Absolutely, sure. And I think we can start inside a place. We see the outside sign. It says Woodbury Cafe. And there's a local news reporter on the TV in the corner and the people bustling around doing coffee and cafe stuff. And we hear the reporter, known for its disappearing residents for years, the town just to Woodbury's north was consumed for good when a faulty, under-maintained dam gave way just a few days ago. And then on the screen on the TV, we see Bob, copy that Bob, John, and the congressman, the Copy That congressman, being interviewed. And the congressman says something like, we know it was a tragedy what happened here, but we're strong, we'll rebuild, and soon be able to welcome visitors back to our beautiful, tranquil woods.
To push the fish into the ocean.
And the TV interviewer was like, what is that last part? Welcome back. Cannoli. well, okay, back to you, Jim, in the weather center or whatever. But then I think as that weird interview is happening on the TV in the cafe, off screen, we hear an unmistakable and it's Big Nose staring at Bob and the congressman on TV, and he says a little louder than he should, "I know evil when I see it." And for a flash of a second, both Bob and the congressman's eyes go black, and Big Nose slams his small hand on the table and says, "Not on my watch." It's right, those clogs.
Oh, God. Big Nose, a throwback to, I think, our 11th movie.
Oh, good for you for remembering. That sounds kind of right.
And that, mostly, gentlemen, is why you never check your walkie-talkie frequencies without a backup plan. Even if ancient folklore entirely tries to duplicate your reality and you don't call the feds, you don't call the police, you just lock up your leftover pizza in a safe and you check your bathroom tank before you sit down.
That's right. And remember, true cinematic tension isn't found in a massive CGI explosion or some clean third act victory that makes you happy. It's found in broken Italian accents, a town full of creepy clone neighbors staring at your lawn, and someone eating your pizza while pooping in the top of your toilet.
Make sure to check out beermethatmovie.com and log your official feature votes in our vault, and prepare your brains for next week's Fast Five. We're going to have a bunch of new submissions, a fresh cooler of craft beer to drink, and just kind of tear apart this shed.
Oh boy. Keep your radios tuned to the right frequency. Verify your safe words with your spouse. And for the love of hops and Rick Astley and, anyone else don't eat any wild mushrooms, especially if your name is Old Man Gibbles.
5 days.
Until then,
peace,
punch, and copy that.